Good morning, Nigeria. It's another episode of Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow. And remember, this is a place where we promote smart solutions for greener harvest. My name is Daniel Black, your host, and this is a Media for Agricultural Development project of GSAI, that is Growth for Sustainable Agriculture Initiative. We have been, for the past episodes, we have been looking at different value chains of different crops and how we can process them and have them give us more products within our country and have them give us more value within our borders, so that even if we're exporting value-added crops, we're improving our GDP, and of course we are getting value for our work. And over the weeks, we've been highlighting different crops. We've highlighted yam, we've highlighted cashew, we've highlighted different crops. Today, we will be highlighting the value addition products of sesame. Yes, sesame. Sesame is a very, very versatile and stable crop here in Nigeria. And of course, you know, Nigeria is rising in its exportation index, exportation capacity for sesame. And the question we keep asking in each episode of this spotlight is, why are we not adding value to sesame? Is it that people do not know what others are using sesame for? Is it that we cannot get to do those things that they are using sesame for? And by the time we break down the different value-added products of sesame, you will find out that these are things that we can actually use in Nigeria. We can actually do in Nigeria and get to enjoy maximum benefits from these natural occurring plants that nature has given to Nigeria. Now, but before we go into the value-added products, let's talk about where in Nigeria can you find sesame? Where are the major production spots of sesame in Nigeria? Let's first and foremost, we know that Nasarawa has sesame in high quantity. If you check Lafia, check Doma, check Kefi, and Awe, there is major production of sesame there. In Benue State, you have it in Makurdi, you have it in Otukpo, you have it in Boko. These are places where sesame are growing in large quantity. You go to Kogi State, you have it in Ida, you have it in Dekina, you have it in Angpa. You can find sesame there. In Niger State, you can find it in Bida, you can find it in Kontagora and Agele. You can find sesame there. You go to Taraba State, you can find it in Yukari, you can find it in Jalingo, you can find it in Ibi. You go to Adamawa State, of course, Yola and Mobi are major production areas of sesame. You move over to Kano State and you find it in the metropolis, Kano metropolis, you find it in Bichi, you find it in Rano. These are places where you can find sesame in Kano State. In Katsina State, you can find it in Funtua, as the name is, Funtua and Daura. You can find sesame there. Should you be someone that you are looking for where sesame is being produced in large quantity in Katsina State? In Jigawa, it is there in Hadejia, it is there in Dutse, it is there in Gume, you can find it there. In Kaduna State, you can find it in Kafancha, you can find it in Zaria, you can find it in Saminaka. Yes, the town Saminaka brings back old memories of while we were growing up and touring the country. Saminaka has been a place where I have a whole lot of memories with. Yes, if you move to Bauchi, you can find it in Mauchi, you can actually find it in Miso too. Gombe State, you can find it in Gombe, you can find it in Biliri and some other places. And of course, we have states like Enugu and Cross River that are also indicating interest in increasing their sesame production, but for now they are still in modest production rates. But these states are places where you can find sesame. And you know, the crop sesame actually thrives in places with climatic that are the climatic suitability is 25 degrees to 35 degrees Celsius, which is about the kind of temperature you find in Nigeria. Generally, the soil type is well drained and loamy soil, and of course a moderate rainfall. So by the time you find these conditions, there are conditions that are really fitting to, and I believe that with this kind of planting conditions, sesame should be able to thrive in every state in Nigeria. But as we speak, we have 12 states currently majorly massively producing sesame. Okay, having known where to find sesame, let us quickly, before our time elapses, let us quickly highlight some of the key value-added products, value uses of sesame that we can begin to explore and maximize the benefits of sesame in Nigeria, within Nigeria. That is the key term, within Nigeria. So on the culinary part, of course, sesame is a very nutritious and highly important crop that is very useful in the culinary space. So extracted from sesame seeds, you can have sesame oil. You can have sesame oil. Sesame oil can be used just like you have your groundnut oil, you have your soybean oil. Sesame oil can also be used, and it is a very, very healthy alternative and has low fat content. So sesame oil can be used. We have sesame flour. You see, most of the crops we have been highlighting can all give us flour alternatives. So this sudden dependent on wheat, the moment there is shortage of wheat, the moment we cannot bring in wheat into the country, the moment our farmers are complaining of wheat, there is all of a sudden a hike, a spike in cost of normal regular consumables, normal regular confectionaries. Yes, confectionaries is the word. But if we begin to explore other sources of flour, like sesame can give us very healthy flour made by grinding the fatted sesame seeds used in gluten-free baking. So it, of course, has its own medical and hygienic advantage, and as a protein-rich additive to food for those of us that can use it as thickeners, right? We also have roasted sesame seeds that can be eaten as snacks and used as toppings in bread, in pastries, in salads. It could be added to your vegetable salad and eaten. So we have sesame butter. Butter can also be made, and that's bread spread. Can also be made from sesame. We also have sesame milk for those vegetarians, for those trying to cut their intake of animal meat, sourced food. You can actually produce sesame milk, and if we have companies producing sesame milk and putting it out for sale, I believe that the Nigerian market is large enough to patronize plant-based food stuff. We have sesame-based sauces and all of that. Now, if we go beyond culinary, if we go beyond food, what are the other things that sesame can be used for? We have, of course, the oil can be used in massage oils for massage. Pardon me. So you can use sesame oils for massage. You can use it as a lubricant. You can use it as something. So in the therapeutic industry, in the medical industry, it is something that can be produced en masse and sold to masseurs, sold to massage parlors, and sold to people that use it in this environment. Of course, it can also be a potent skincare product. Most people have produced skincare and are just basically copying regimen from one place. You see 10 skincare products and are almost the same thing. Why are we not having massive infusion of sesame into the skincare production? Of course, sesame oil is included in lotions, creams, and soap for its moisturizing and anti-inflammatory properties. So I would challenge someone today that is in the cosmetic industry to begin to explore ways of using sesame as a raw material for your skincare products, and of course that will increase the value. That will make sure that the sesame in Nigeria can be properly utilized in Nigeria. Of course, it can also be used as natural sunscreen so it can be produced as a natural sunscreen for people that would need sunscreen for skin protection and all of that. So it basically also for industrial and pharmaceutical uses. We also have it can be used for biofuel, it can be used as a lubricant, it can also be used as animal feed. Sesame has multi-potential uses, and as a crop that is growing very, very freely in Nigeria, I think we need to begin to explore how we can set up plants, how we can set up processing industries, processing systems that can actually convert it from the raw material, which is just the sesame seed, into the full-fledged value product. So animal feed, like we mentioned, in other products we have sesame protein powder. So as a protein supplement for people that are medically disadvantaged in terms of protein, they can work with protein powder of sesame. It can also be used as sesame-based flours and extract, sesame candle wax. A whole lot of things can be produced from sesame. A whole lot of things can be used. A whole lot of raw material, a whole lot of industries, pardon me, can use sesame as their raw materials to produce different products, and then we will not have these issues of shortage of raw materials. Of course, you have to understand the season, its harvest season, its storage practices, to be able to utilize sesame for value added products. So that is all we'll be taking today on agriculture for today and tomorrow. I hope we've inspired somebody to begin to look at the various ways they can use sesame for production of various value-added products, and increasing the, of course, when this is done, job employment is increased, the GDP is increased, we have more value-added products, and of course, increased earnings for all the state actors, both government, private industry, and the business owner will have increased earnings. That is what we'll be taking today on agriculture for today and tomorrow. Remember, this is where we promote sustainable smart solutions for greener harvest. Follow us on all our social medias to continue this conversation. See you in the next episode.